Hi, my name is Neb Kamus Sen Atumure, and this is the 11th video in the Black History series, Jesus Found in Egypt, His Travels. Lo, as a babe, Yashua was taken by his parents into Egypt, weaned until age 2 under the close watch of his mother. At age 3, he started to study alphabets and their meaning under an Egyptian teacher. At age 4 years, 4 months, and 4 days, he was given over to Joseph, who taught him the rudiments of carpentry up to age 5. At the 6th year, they returned back to Jerusalem, for they had heard of the death of Herod. By age 7, studying with the Essenes, of which Joseph was a member, he memorized all the Hebraic texts and returned to Nazareth, because it was now safe for him and his family to return there. At age 11, Yashua was brought to the council of Sanhedrin. Hillel, who was also one of Mary's teachers, was so interested in the youngster that he personally educated Yashua for the next year. Their mutual admiration for one another grew quite quickly, and they were almost inseparable companions. Many of the knottiest points of the law, which would perplex the Sanhedrin, the child could clearly explain to Hillel through the logic of love and justice. At age 12, he returned to Jerusalem from Egypt for the feast of the Passover. When the feast of the Passover was over and Yeshua's family were on their way back to Galilee, they realized that Yeshua was not in their company. Thus, they returned to Jerusalem on finding him in the temple with the elders, learning and teaching, discussing many things which surprised the elders. He was asked about his behavior, and he rejected them as his parents with the statement, "I must be about my father's work." Hillel delayed his return for another day in order to show him off to the elders who had come from the outlying reaches of the Holy Land for this celebration in Jerusalem. But after much tears from Mary, Yeshua decided to return with her home. At age 13, this is the age Yeshua, a Messiah, received his bar mitzvah. This is the age all boys reached manhood. At age 14, Yeshua journeyed to India, being a man at age 13. Between the ages of 15 and 19, Yeshua studied amongst the Brahma masters and the common people. They referred to him as Hare Krishna. This title was carried back to Jerusalem and became Helios Khristos, meaning the Anointed Son. In time, this became simply Christ. Between the ages of 20 and 25, Yeshua journeyed up the Tigris Euphrates, going through Afghanistan and Chaldea. First, he went to India, among the Hindu. Benares is the sacred city of the Brahmas, and the Benares Yeshua taught. Udraka was his host. Udraka made a feast in honor of his guests, and many high-born Hindu priests and scribes were there. And Yeshua said to them with much delight, "I speak to you concerning life, the brotherhood of life. The universal Alyun El is one, yet he is more than one. All things are one. By the sweetest breath of Alun El, all life is bound, is one. So if you touch a fiber of a living thing, you send a thrill from the center to the outer bounds of life. And when you crush beneath your feet the meanest worm, you shake the throne of Alun El and cause the sword of life to tremble in its sheath. The birds sing out its song for Inosites, and Inosites vibrate in unison to help it sing. The ant constructs its home, the bee its sheltering comb. The spider weaves her web and flowers breathe to them a spirit in their sweet perfume that gives them strength to toil. Now, Inosites and birds and beasts and creeping things are deities made flesh. And how dare you kill anything? It is cruelty that makes the world hoary. When Inosites have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves, they surely will not kill or cause a thing that Alun El has made to suffer pain. A lawyer said, I pray to you, I pray to Yashua, tell, who is this Alun El you speak about? Where are his priests, his temples, his shrines? And Yeshua said, the Most High that I speak about is everywhere. He cannot be compassed with walls, nor hedged about with bounds of any kind. All people worship the Most High, the One, but all people see him not alike. This universal Alun El is wisdom, will, and love. All Inosites see not the triune Most High. One sees him as the Most High of might, another as the Most High of thought, another as the Most High of love. An Inosite's ideal is his Alun El, and so as Inosites unfold, his Alun El unfolds, and Inosites Alun El today, tomorrow, is not the Most High. The nations of the earth see Alun El from different points of view, and so he does not seem the same to everyone. Inosites name the parts of Alun El he sees, and this to him is all of the Most High's. And every nation has a name for Alun El. You Brahmins, you call him Para Brahma, and Zeus is his name in Greece. YHWH is his Hebrew name, but everywhere his is the causeless cause, the rootless root from which all things have grown. When Inosites are afraid of Alun El and take him as a foe, they dress up other Inosites in fancy garbs and call them priests, and charge them to restrain the wrath of Alun El by prayers, and when they fail to win his favor by their prayer, they proceed to buy him off with sacrifice of animals and birds. When Inosites sees Alun El as one with him as Father Alun El, he needs no middle Inosites, no priests to intercede. he goes straight to him and say, my father, Alun Alun El, and then he lays his hands in Alun Alun El own hand, and all is well. And this is Alun Alun El. You are each one a priest, just for yourself, and sacrifice of blood Alun Alun El does not want. Just give yourself in sacrificial service to the all of life, and Alun Alun El is pleased. When Yeshua had thus said, he stood aside. The people were amazed, but strove amongst themselves. Some said, he is inspired by holy Brahma, and others said, he is insane, and others said, he is obsessed, he speaks as devils speak. But Yeshua tarried not. Amongst the guests was one, a tiller of the soil, a generous soul, a seeker after truth, who loved the word that Yeshua spoke, and Yeshua went with him, and in his home abode. Then he traveled on into Tibet amongst the Buddhists. Amongst the Buddhist priests was one who saw a lofty wisdom in the words that Yeshua spoke. It was Barato Arabo. Together, Yeshua and Barato read the Psalms and prophets and the Vedas and the Avesta and the wisdom of Gautama. As they read and talked about the possibilities of man, Barato said, man is the marvel of the universe. He is a part of everything, for he has been a living thing on every plane of life. Time was when man was not, and then he was a bit of formless substance in the moods of time, and then a protoplast. By universal law, all things tend upward to a state of perfectness. The protoplast evolved, becoming worm, then reptile, bird, beast, and then at last it reached the form of man. Now, man himself is mind, and mind is here to gain perfection by experience, and mind is often manifest in fleshly form, and in the form best suited to its growth. So mind may manifest as worm, or bird, or beast, or man. The time will come when everything of life will be evolved into the state of perfect man. And after man is perfectness, he will evolve into higher forms of life. And Yeshua said, Barato Arabo, who told you this? That mind, which is man, may manifest in flesh of beast, or bird, or creeping thing. Barato said, from time when man remembers not, our priest told us so, and we know. And Yeshua said, enlightened Arabo, are you a mastermind and do not know that man knows naught by being told? Man may believe what others say, but never knows. If man would know, he must himself be what he knows. Do you remember, Arabo, when you were ape, or bird, or worm? Now, if you have no better proving of your plea than that the priest have told you so, you do not know. You simply guess. Regard then not what any man has said. Let us forget the flesh and go with the mind into the land of the fleshless things. Mind never forgets, and backwards through the ages, masterminds can trace themselves, and thus they know time never was when man was not. That which begins will have an end. So if man was not, the time will come when he will not exist. From Alun El's own record book, we read, the triune Alun El breathed forth and stood 7 spirits before his face. The Hebrews call these 7 spirits Elohim, and these are they who, in their boundless power, created everything that is or was. These spirits of the triune Alun El moved on the face of the boundless space, and 7 others were, and every other had its form of life. These forms of life were but the thought of Alun El, clothier in the substance of their ether planes. Men call these planes the plane of protoplast, of earth, of plants, of beasts, of man, of angels and Garubat. These planes, with all their teeming thought of Alun El, are never seen by the eyes of man in the flesh. They are composed of substance far too fine for fleshly eyes to see, and still they constitute the soul of things. And with the eyes of soul, all creatures see these ether planes and all the forms of life. Because all forms of life on every plane are thoughts of Alun El, all creatures think, and every creature is possessed of will, and in its measure has the power to choose. And in their native planes, all creatures are supplied with nourishment from the ethers of their planes. And so it was with every living thing until the will became a sluggish will. And then the ethers of the protoplast, the earth, the plant, the beast, the man began to vibrate very slow. The ethers became more dense, and all the creatures of these planes were clothed in coarser garbs of flesh, which men call physical, appeared. And this is what is called the fall of man. But man fell not alone, for protoplast, earth, planet, and beast were all included in the fall. The angels and the Garubat fell not. Their will was never strong, and so they held the ethers of their planes in harmony with Alun El. Now, when the ether reached the stage or the rate of atmosphere, and all the creatures of these planes must get their food from atmosphere, the conflict came, and then that which the finite man called survival of the best became the law. The stronger ate the bodies of the weaker manifest, and here is where the carnal of evolution had its rise. In yonder kingdom of the soul, this carnal evolution is not known. And the great word of the masterminds is to restore the heritage of man, to bring him back to his estate that he has lost, when he again will live upon the ethers of his native plane. The thoughts of Alun El change not. The manifest of life on every plane unfolds into perfection of their kind. And as the thought of Alion El can never die, there is not death to any being of the seven ethers of the seven spirits of the triune Alion El. And so earth is never man, a beast, or bird, or creeping thing is never man, and man is not and cannot be a beast, or bird, or creeping thing. The time will come when all these manifests will be absorbed, and man and beast and plant and earth and the protoplast are revelation unto him. Now, Vidyapati, wisest of the Indian sages, chief of the temple of Kapavistu, heard Bharata speak to Jesus of the origin of man, and heard the answer of the Hebrew prophet, and he said, "You priests of Kapavistu, hear me speak. We stand today upon the crest of time. 6 time ago, a master soul was born who gave a glorious light to man, and now a master sage stands in the temple of Kapavistu. The Hebrew prophet is the rising star of wisdom, defied. He brings to us the secret things of Alion El, and all the world will hear his words and glorify his name. You priests of Kapavistu, stay, be still, and listen when he speaks. He is the living oracle of Alion El. And all the priests give thanks and praised the Buddha of enlightenment. Then he traveled into Persia amongst the Zoroastrians, then to Assyria,